More bisphenol A is produced by volume than any other endocrine disruptor in the environment. Over 6 billion pounds of it is manufactured every year in resins and polycarbonate plastics. Vamsal is worried because studies show tiny amounts of bisphenol A can derail early cell development in mice. And if mice are vulnerable, might people be as well?
The organs in a developing baby are undergoing what we call genetic programming. And the genetic programmers are hormones.
Too much of any hormone at the wrong moment can be risky. Even man-made ones can set the stage for future problems.
You have essentially set a time bomb in the genes of that animal.
Recently, Vamsal tested clear plastic baby bottles to see if they release bisphenol A. He devised the simplest of experiments. Let distilled water sit in brand new bottles for 24 hours and then test it. Every one released bisphenol A. Curious, he then decided to see what happens when the same baby bottles are run through an ordinary dishwasher, which heats them to 140 degrees.
Some of these bottles, by the time we had washed them 10 times, were leaching 10 times more bisphenol A than they had before they had been washed.
The plastics industry vigorously disputes any danger to children from the chemical. They cite the continued blessing of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. But the Japanese are cutting back in their use of bisphenol A, and recent independent studies have motivated the FDA to take a fresh look. Alarmed by rising numbers of wild animals found with bizarre developmental and reproductive problems, they've joined a national effort to find the cause. But prime suspects include pesticides, the residue of birth control pills and other drugs in treated wastewater, and a compound found in many familiar plastics, bisphenol A.
The problem with chemicals such as bisphenol A is it breaks out of the plastic and leaches into water.
Studies show that from water, this chemical can get into animals. And there it can act like a dose of the female sex hormone estrogen.
I think we're going to take one more water sample.
Too much estrogen can disrupt the endocrine system, and that's been linked to a wide range of health impacts, including gender bending. One critical unanswered question is at what level of exposure these effects occur. With bisphenol A, we're talking about extremely small quantities of this chemical getting into the environment. Samples drawn from this stream had only 30 parts per trillion.
This idea of a trillionth of a gram of something causing an effect is very difficult for people to get their arms around because it seems like such a small number. To an endocrinologist, that's a large number. The estrogen response system is exquisitely sensitive